David, I think our topic this week is community relationships. And as I was thinking about relationships with community, really two things came to my mind, my experience. The first one has to do with a community ministry we attempted to start about 10 years ago called Legacy Outfitters. We were trying to reach out to men who in the community of guys that like to hunt and fish but who didn't ordinarily come to church. And so one of the things that we struggled with was, well, how do you make a ministry out of hunting and fishing? And after quite a while wrestling with that issue, what we hit upon is, you know, you can minister around the things that you love. And these guys love hunting and fishing. And so what we learned along the way is there is no better place to build relationship than on a bass boat or in a duck blind. And it's in those kind of places that are natural places for us to spend time, things that we like doing, that we can build the kind of really strong relationships that we would love to do in order to get to a point with people that we start talking about the real issues of life. And so Legacy has just been a great experience for me in trying to understand how that works. And I know we're trying to pursue that concept in what we're doing in small groups.
Right.
The other thing is a little different aspect of community. Pam and I moved out to Wood Forest about 4 years ago, and in doing that we started developing our routines again in a new area. And one of the things that we like to do is walk. And now when I walk, the way I do it is I stick my earplugs in my head and I crank up a sermon or some Bible study or something, because I'm very task oriented when I go walking. Now I confess that in my community, my local community, I'm probably better known as Pam's husband. Because when Pam walks, she has her earbuds on with her radio going, but really what she's doing is she's out there, she interacts with people, she stops and talks to them, not in an intrusive way, it's just natural for her. It's something I have really had to think about and try and figure out how I can do a better job of that, because it's not natural for me. I'm much better at the task-oriented kinds of things than that, but she's inspired me to do that, and I really love the way that she's had an impact on our local community that way.
I think that's a good point, because even thinking personally, how many different interactions I have with people in our community every week that I see multiple times. Like, I think about going grocery shopping. Like, I go to the same Creekside HEB once or twice a week. I see the exact same employees there every time, and honestly, I can't tell you any of their names. I can maybe say one, but he goes to church, so that's kind of cheating. But I'm just not intentional about those kind of relationships. But man, God has put those people in our lives that we can build those relationships with, because we have multiple interactions with them. We just can't think outside of kind of our own, just kind of schedule throughout the week. So, and I want to take a chance to also kind of enlarge our thinking for this idea of community, because the coolest part about thinking this way and having this mindset, but also being in a small group, is that you really have a built-in support system now. I mean, now you have people that can have the same mindset, and they're really trying to think about all the relationships they have throughout the community and different ways they interact with people throughout their week. And now when you start talking about that with people like in a small group who are trying to go closer to God and have meaningful relationships with God, and also really wanting to serve the community, they become people that can start praying for you about your interactions with people outside of the church. They can really be ones that support you and a place where you have a passion for, let's say, your kids' schools. Let's say you are a part of the PTO, and when you start thinking about community as a ministry opportunity, then you can say, wow, how can I bless the teachers and the parents in this PTO program? Like, how can I do something above and beyond and really show God's love to them. And that way you can come back to your small group and say, hey guys, God's really laid this program on my heart. I really want you guys to start praying about it and helping me figure out ways that I can bless them. And then it becomes just a group thing, and it takes on a whole new life when you know you have people there encouraging you and praying for you. And the best part is, when you really start digging into this, you'll be surprised how many similar passions you have with people in your group. And that's when God can do some amazing things. When you see 2 or 3 of you, wow, we go to the same gym, you know? Our kids go to the same school. Now we can come alongside each other and do this together. And that's where God can really bless a part of a community. When you have 2 or 3 Christians that gather together for the sole purpose of just showing God's love. I think about the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus talks about being a light, where he says that we are the light of the world, and that we are a city on a hill. And the cool thing about that imagery is that when you say you're a city on a hill, you're pretty much saying that you are visible from anywhere. And so many times we kind of think of the church as a place where if people need help, then they can come find us. But this imagery is really saying, if someone needs help and they don't know the Lord, they should be able just to look around where they're at and see us there, ready to help them. Yeah. And I think that's what that verse really speaks to, that when we really start thinking of the community as our individual places of ministry, and even our individual place of ministry as a small group, we're there for people when they need us. We are there on the soccer field. We're there in the grocery store. We're there at the schools. You know, we're there on the bass boat. You know, just all these different places and these passions that we have. If we gear it towards ministry and Christ and showing Christ's love, he's going to do amazing things in our city. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can do for our community. It's just being there and loving on people, and just being available, and just showing them that we care and that we're intentional about those relationships. So.
Just relating to people in the ordinary things of our lives is a great thing. So I hope David and I have given you a few things to think about. I know your small group leader has some questions for you now, and so we're going to turn it over to them. We hope you have a great discussion.